Two.
Hi, welcome to Hard Ass Reviews, Hunger Games Roundup. So what's up with Mockingjay? In summary, The Hunger Games is a book by Suzanne Collins which tells of the life of Katniss Everdeen. Now, America has been destroyed and turned into a post-apocalyptic world known as Panem. Not the greatest name, I have to say, but that's the name. And Panem consists of 12 districts. At the start, you believe that it's 12 districts. The 12 districts, and each district has a different. They do different things. So, one district will be responsible for farming. Another district will be responsible for making arms, and so on. District 12 is the poorest district, and Katniss has a family, her sister Prim and her mother. Her father was killed in a mining accident. Mining is the industry that's conducted by District 12. And Katniss is forced to hunt for the family. So first on in the book, you realise that she uses a bow and arrow and she hunts with her friend and her friend Gale. Now, the Hunger Games is an event that takes place every year in order for the capital. The capital is, hence, it is the capital, and that's where the affluent people live, and it is run and overseen by the President, President Snow. And the Hunger Games conducts a reaping every year, and every year in this reaping, a boy and a girl are taken from each district. Hence, you have 24. 12 boys, 12 girls. And what happens is, in the reaping, names are drawn in each district. So it's like in a public event in the town square, where the reaping takes place, and a boy and a girl are drawn, in each case. Now, what happens is, a tribute can be taken. So in other words, if your sister or your brother are taken, you can be taken from the age of 12. So if your sister or brother are pulled out of the hat and they have to go into the Hunger Games, somebody else from their family can hold their hand up and call in order to take their place. Now in this case, Katniss takes the place of her sister Prim, because her Prim is only 12 and small, and you're given the impression that she's frail, and Katniss is 15 and she believes that her sister wouldn't be able to manage it, and, well, for whatever reason. She takes her sister's place because she is the head of the family. The Hunger Games, so she goes into the Hunger Games, and in the Hunger Games it's a public arena that is overseen by a commentator, and it's manipulated by the capital, and it's televised. Now that's the setup. Now most of you who have read The Hunger Games, you'll know that. Then in Catching Fire, now I have to say, through this whole thing, you have this love triangle, which is between Katniss, her long-term friend Gale, hunting mate, and Peter Mellark, who is the boy who is selected from District 12 also, whose parents run the local bakery. Now, Peter and Katniss go into the Hunger Games in Book 1. In Book 2, they do the Hunger Games once again, because President Snow is not pleased by the outcome of the Hunger Games, the first Hunger Games. Therefore is the Quarter Quell. The Quarter Quell is where all the champions from previous Hunger Games come together and repeat the process. They go into the Hunger Games again, and so on. Peter and Katniss are called upon again in Catching Fire, Hunger Games Catching Fire, the second book. And they go through, and once again they fight, and they have to kill each other, because the whole idea is you have to kill each other until only 2 people are left, and those 2 people win the Hunger Games. Now at the end of Catching Fire, Katniss fires an arrow up and she destroys the arena. She kind of fires an arrow right up into the ceiling of the arena. You don't know it's the ceiling of the arena because it's all manipulated and you just see sky and clouds and everything. So it's all manipulated for television. This is a futuristic arena that can be manipulated from elsewhere, from a control center elsewhere. So in Catching Fire, the stakes are raised in Catching Fire because, you know, the president doesn't like the fact that, you know, that Katniss is gaining popularity in the districts for her rebellious nature within the Hunger Games and a rebellious nature against Snow and against the Capitol. She carries that on in Catching Fire and into Mockingjay. Mockingjay is the last book, and after the arena is destroyed, it's a rebellion has been set, and it comes out at the end of Catching Fire that a rebellion is taking place. Katniss doesn't realise this, a rebellion. All the districts have risen up, and Plutarch Kevensby, who is the games master, he's the games master, he's the master manipulator and commentator of the Hunger Games, and he can, you know, send things into the Hunger Games. He can change the layout of the arena, whether it's grass, trees, fire, thunder. He can change the weather. So, but he is now part of the rebellion. So this, comes into place at the end of Catching Fire. So at the beginning of Mockingjay, Plutarch Kevensby and Katniss Everdeen are they're all kind of like part of the rebellion. And it also is revealed that District 13, because in Catching Fire you're told that District 13, because you don't actually realise in the first book that there is a District 13, District 13 has been destroyed because of a past uprising. So you can't go, because District 13 was designated to build nuclear weapons. And that's been destroyed. You're given the impression it's been destroyed, but it hasn't. District 13 is an underground district. So in Mockingjay, all the rebels, move, because District 12 has been destroyed. It has been destroyed at the end of Catching Fire, and in Mockingjay, all the District 12 people, survivors from District 12, moved to District 13 under the control of Plutarch Kevensby and a lot of the other rebels. Now you're given the impression that the rebellion has taken place already before Katniss decides to join the rebellion, because Katniss' joining in of the rebellion is very, very important, because they want her as the symbol. So they want her as the televisual symbol of the rebellion, the Mockingjay. The Mockingjay, she has a Mockingjay pin, which is a bird that has been mutated by the Capitol in the past to mimic noises made, or it can mimic any noise, the Mockingjay. So it's like the rebels have taken this symbol and they've turned it into a positive symbol from a negative symbol, because in the past people don't like Mockingjays, because obviously they're used to deceive, and bring about the destruction of people by mimicking people's screams or cries or whatever. Anyway, Katniss takes on the symbol and she wears a pin that looks like a Mockingjay. The pin is a Mockingjay, and in Mockingjay, she decides, to be the symbol after a lot of procrastination and umming and ahhing about, the destruction of her district and whether she really wants to be the Mockingjay or whether she really wants to, have nothing to do with it. She says that she will be the Mockingjay. She says I have a few conditions, and her few conditions are the fact that she wishes to hunt and she wishes to bring the family cat into District 13, and to be honest, her reasons for conducting for taking on the part of the Mockingjay are juvenile. And I presume that they're not at all like the film, because if you've seen the films, if you see the films and then you come to the books, you will be disappointed. But if you also read the books and then go to the films, I think to a certain extent you'll be disappointed, because Jennifer Lawrence doesn't come across at all like a 15-17-year-old girl in Mockingjay. She doesn't come across like that at all. She's more beefed up, she's more buff, it's more taken almost more like a teen action film. The films are. So I presume Mockingjay will be better. I haven't seen Mockingjay myself, but several friends of mine have been to see Mockingjay, and the general consensus is that they're disappointed. I'm not surprised. I was disappointed by the book, Mockingjay. I think it's absolutely silly, and to be honest, Suzanne Collins repeats the scenario from the first two books, which spoils Mockingjay really, because you don't believe in Katniss. You're supposed to believe in her. She's supposed to be a hero, but stupid things, one stupid thing after another happens in Mockingjay. She hunts in Mockingjay, which doesn't make any sense, because it made sense that she hunted in District 12 in the first two books because they're the poorest district. But now that all districts have risen up, why are you hunting? Why are you hunting? She's gone to District 13. There's no need to hunt in District 13. There's no need to hunt at all. But there's a ridiculous part of the book where she goes to the surface and she kills around a dozen geese. We're supposed to believe that she kills around a dozen geese, and she's sitting on the ground plucking this geese whilst getting all reflective about which boy means the most to her. Whether it's Peter Mellark, who has been, his mind has been altered by the Capitol at the end of Catching Fire, and he's come back to District 13 with a disregard of for Katniss. He no longer cares about her, and his feelings for her aren't the same as they were in the first two books. Now Katniss is hurt by this, so what she does is she kisses Gale. Now this really does show the book up as teen nonsense for me, and I wanted to see Katniss rise up and take control of the rebellion and have some kind of gravitas. She has no gravitas in the books for me. I think she's an absolute stupid character in the book, and it descends into teen nonsense where Suzanne Collins throws in a few rebellious scenarios from time to time just to remind us that is supposed to be the conclusion of this great rebellion and this great war. But most of the time it still sits as a ridiculous teen triangle load of nonsense. And to be honest, I could be more graphic and more disgusted about the book, because Hunger Games, the first book, is excellent. Hunger Games, the first film, I thought was excellent. It's an excellent book. But to be honest, I thought Catching Fire lacked energy, and I think Mockingjay was just one book too many, and I can't say it was one film too many because I haven't seen it, and by all accounts the films are better than the books. But in summary, Mockingjay was a big disappointment. Katniss is not an icon. Katniss has no gravitas, and to be honest, Jennifer Lawrence is way better than the character in the books. And if you read the books, yes, you'll get something from the films, but if you watch the films and then go to the books, I'm afraid that you'll be very, very disappointed. Now, art is very personal, literature is very personal, so you may like it. So I urge you to, yes, read the books. Read them, but I really did struggle with Mockingjay. Struggle terribly, terribly, terribly to actually finish it, because Katniss just got more flip-floppy and stupid. So one minute she's killing 12 geese, next minute she's kissing a boy and getting all reflective on which boy she should be kissing, what boy she should be kissing, or how many geese she should be shooting, in a scenario where she shouldn't be shooting anything because people are using guns anyway and it's a rebellion. So in District 12, yes, go out and hunt because you're feeding your family. In District 13, this is rebellion. You're surrounded by soldiers. You're part of you're part of the military yourself. You're a symbol. You know, you've been trained in the art of weaponry yourself, so using some stupid, pointless bow and arrow like an idiot serves no purpose apart from for Suzanne Collins to tie up Mockingjay with the first two books, so that you still feel that Katniss Everdeen has a certain amount of individuality. She doesn't. She doesn't at all, and the book has no gravitas. And personally, I thought it was rubbish. I'm going to come out and I'm going to say I thought it was rubbish. So so what's up with Mockingjay is absolutely loads. There's loads up with Mockingjay. But enjoy the books if you enjoy them. See them for what they are. But they're totally different from the films. And I'll see you next time. If you have comments, leave comments below and subscribe. And I would much appreciate it. And I'll see you again on Hard Ass Reviews. Bye for now.